Hi everyone, welcome to the first episode of Burokku Beat, your new go-to source for everything at the intersection of Web3, gaming, and blockchain. My name is Tony, and with me are my co-hosts BaldZ and Royallady.
That's right, Tony. We're here to dive deep into the ever evolving world of blockchain gaming and also how Web3 is reshaping the industry as we know it.
My name is BaldZ. Whether you're a seasoned expert or just curious, Burokku Beat is your hub for insightful discussion, expert interviews, and the latest trends in our favorite Web3 game.
In today's episode, we are setting the stage for what you can expect from Burokku Beat, and we will focus on the hottest game in Web3 for 2024, Pixels. We will share our own experiences with Web3 gaming and what we're looking forward to in the future.
And also, don't forget to subscribe to Burokku Beat on YouTube. We'd love to hear from you. Any questions, insights, what you're excited about in the world of crypto and Web3 gaming, just reach out to us on X at TonyBlock, MetaBoat, Royallady, or simply email us via the contacts at our website burokku.com.
Awesome. So, with that said, let's kick off with our very first episode. So, guys, how about we start with um, a few insightful posts from the actually from the founder of Pixels, Luke Barikowski. If you can see my screen, is it
Yes,
showing?
perfectly.
Yep,
Yeah.
I could see.
Awesome. So, for the past couple of days, there's been a lot happening in Pixels. We have essentially the announcement of the Pixel token, um, them launching the token on Binance Launchpad, which is the largest crypto exchange. It's a big achievement for any Web3 game, and so the team has been releasing a bunch of updates and upgrades to the game and evolutions of the game called Chapter Two. So what we can see here is Luke posting about what we can expect from farmlands. Farmlands are, as you might know, NFTs, which give ownership of the lands within Pixels. There is 5,000 of those. Us within Burokku, as a guild, we have a few. Um, Actually, each guild lead would have their own individual lands, and we can do various things with that. But let's look at what are the changes? Um, what are the net new things which Pixels have introduced? So what Luke is saying is that Chapter 2 is bringing several new and interconnected systems that will all change how players interact with the land. Um, and this is a sentence which I think is very important to anybody that's a Pixel player and that's been very comfortable for the past couple of years of the gameplay. Understanding all of these systems and thinking about how they may work together is crucial. And in another post, I saw that basically saying keep up to date as much as possible because this is going to give you an edge and advantage into the games. So that's what we're trying to demystify here and bring you guys up to speed.
Let's find our groove here first, right? I want to hear from Lady first, right? What do you think of the land and resource steering, and how does that make you excited um coming into this kind of update, big update?
Yeah, so I think this will make the game a lot more interesting because so far we weren't competing on anything, to be honest. Like, we were able to go wherever we want if just the landowner hasn't gated us by any chance, but this wasn't the case usually. So currently, I think they first wanna make us like compete on stuff um, to make us um, gate our lands when they are like high leveled and have like the highest tier of resources possible just to a certain group of people, like for example in our guilds. Um, and the second thing that might be very beneficial is our leveling and our uh, way of interacting with the specs. um, we might be able to put some more industries there to develop new skills.
Mm-hmm.
You know that there were some people that were only farming berries or water mint just to sell on the market on hazel that was by now, and
Mm-hmm.
just collect some berries, and that was it for them for the day. But right now they're making us wanna excel more, do more, in a variety of things.
Mm-hmm. Um, have you managed to use your windmill or any windmill like the past couple of days?
Yeah, very hard, very hard. I had to wait in line, like, you know how um, I was just kidding about this with Tony. There used to be a website for buying some clothing and stuff on reduction,
Uh-huh.
and there was a time frame for like 15. Um, I think it was like 15 minutes or maybe 10 minutes that you can reserve a certain item for yourself, like you have added it to the basket, but only for this period of time, and after that, it might be gone if someone else is just waiting and clicking constantly during the last couple of seconds, and that was what I was doing these last 2 days, like waiting on the oven or by the windmill, just clicking to be the first one to create an item. So it has been very funny, and also I've noticed that on most lands that I visited, the windmill was like working and moving. So I think that it's busier than it used to be because people are spreading their energy and uh, gaming through various places and various industries.
Mm-hmm. I like what you said there, because I think we're seeing the glimpse of what it could be um when the whole chapter 2 comes out, right? For now we have to wait for our turn when it comes to using the windmill, and we still have a lot of energy we could use somewhere else. But what happens when the soil becomes um not instance anymore, right?
Oh, that's a wild one.
Because we're gonna like the whole player base are gonna have a lot of energy that we would want to burn, and that's where spec upgrades really comes into play. um if we could expand our spec to have one more industry than it could now, because right now we could only put one industry, right? But I think it's very important for other players to have a bigger spec and really put in resources to upgrade it for them to progress themselves.
So that's an interesting one. See it here. So this is in use by Subute. I swear to God, before chapter 2, I've never seen this player on my land before that.
Mhm.
So what you're saying, BaldZ, is not just that we're going to be queuing here in Royal's shopping analogy. We're going to be queuing for each one of those little spaces, right?
Right.
But are the specs limited to one industry only currently?
You could only put one, and you could only put four soils in there. And I wonder if we upgrade our specs, right? How is it going to be? Are we
I
going to have more soil or
I think what you can do is if it is still limited on one industry only, we were just talking about that with Tony. You can build yourself or just buy the not the blueprints but the kits, the ready kits of the industries like kiln or textile, um, um, a woodworking bench, and just uh, put it out just when you are about to use it.
Yeah, that's what we're planning to do. So basically store each of those that you need here and then remove, take out, remove, have one here. What do you think about that idea?
That is that is very good idea. That is great.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I've never thought about it like that.
yeah, but you cannot do it with the resource industries, like
Mhm.
because they need to be there for a longer period of time in order to accumulate your resources.
But
But you
you
can
don't
do
need
it.
it, right?
Yeah, yeah, probably
Because
you
because
won't.
of tiers of resources, what we are saying is it's irrelevant whether it's going to be woodworking bench here or in on one of the most expensive lands, because the output is still going to be a chair. Whereas here, if you were to put, say, mine in this spot, then you would potentially get the lowest possible resources, tier 1 and tier 2, but you wouldn't be able to get clay as an example.
Yeah. Well, I think the highest competition will be for windmills because every land has a house with oven, but windmill you don't have everywhere and you don't have on interview as well. So
Yeah, but take a look at this.
these will be most limited.
I bet you. Oh, nobody's using it. Oh, that's really cool. So now, Royal, something that you discovered this morning was that actually, if I were to put 6 wood here, right, to fire up my oven, it's gonna work for other people as well.
Yeah, it's working. Whenever fires it, it just works for 1 hour for everyone. So
That's pretty nice. I like that.
And that's
It's
very cool.
efficient.
yeah.
BaldZ, tell us a little bit about what you did, man, on your land, because see, my trees.
um, I was. Can you quickly go to my land?
Yeah, but I was playing with I need to go through the top farms because I was yeah, I changed it a little bit, so I need to go through here. Hold on.
It's very funny because I've been chilling in landowners Discord recently, and I've seen a lot of people trying to block off their trees, but other people like me, I left a gap on my on my barricade, and people actually found a way that if you press down while trying to squeeze in yourself or change your avatar, you could actually get past through most of the barricades in the game.
Oh,
It's some
really?
Yeah,
Like
cause
just by changing the avatar? I thought that avatars, no matter how big or small they
they
were able to go through any like sufficient.
so
See
if
how
you
he's
could see
hidden them? It's
Tony,
so
right?
funny. It's hilarious.
So this is where I made a mistake, right? So look what Tony did. He could easily get
It's,
passed through. Um,
Yeah, because with chests it's always like that.
good
but
job, man.
because that's because subway rats actually have a smaller collision when it comes to the avatar and the objects inside the
All right,
game.
let's test
But
this.
when I'm using different,
Oh, this is a bit bugged. Ah, you're right.
so there
Oh,
you go.
oh.
Hold on.
I like this because in Sandbox it's not like this. For
Mhm.
example.
Sorry, BaldZ, man. It's like most avatars.
So there you go, right?
Where's my
Another
axe?
utility for your farmhand NFT. Shout out to Rag Poet, by the way. So that's an additional utility for the farmhands NFTs. You could squeeze in yourself
Yeah.
inside my land and farm my trees, basically.
So can we say that in a three-dimensional space, these avatars would look so thin and so
It's-
so slim?
BaldZ, you've done a better job in blocking me go here. So, question. I really have a
Mhm.
question for you, man. It's
All
like
right.
this arrangement of
Mhm.
your soils. It's like Why did you make it so difficult? It's like I was trying to farm. I was trying to farm the other day here. It's just
I,
painful, you
I
know?
just hated the normal layout, right? The either 6 by 10 or whatever the arrangement is. Um, Sometimes I cannot reach the soil when I'm in a certain spot. So for this one, I
Ah,
could just place myself around here. I don't know if you could see it in your screen,
yep.
and just um, plant and water this part of the land. And actually, I just did it for the aesthetic reason.
Ah,
I
that's
just
how you
like
do it.
so I could like place these 4 LC trophy that I got from player W3, right? I wanted to I wanted a space to showcase that while people are farming, and also Ronin represent. So I
So,
would rearrange this at some point, but I'll leave it as it is for now.
so guys, this trophy here is the wildest achievement in pixels, like grinding achievement that I've ever heard of. So, BaldZ, tell us, man. So you need to go to to one of is it Rock Poets? No, it's Player W3's, right? Player W3's
Mm-hmm.
farm. By the way, the farm is a large farm. That means there is like 60 soils on there, and you've
Sorry,
gotta.
you could actually do it in any land with 60 souls. That's the thing about it.
Okay,
Um,
but 60 soils,
mhm.
right? It's many soils. So you need to plant clover on each of those, and on each of those, you need to get a 4-leaf clover. So, mate, how long did it take you to complete this?
I think it took me about 2 months, two and a half
Wow.
months, I think. But I was
Good.
planting constantly. So, for people who don't know, planting clover takes about 45-ish minutes. Um, so every 45 minutes, I was trying to plant and harvest and replant just to um try to get more 4-leaf clover. And I probably spent so much energy doing that, and I wonder how like what is the pixel value of this trophy
I've
right
got
here.
only one thing to say. This quest and this game will be over once the new gameplay kicks in. Like if we're going to compete for one piece of soil, then I don't know who is supposed to be the winner of that. Like
And that's the interesting thing, right? People could harvest what you plant. People could interact what you plant. So it's very important for chapter 2 and land
will
clearing.
it be that way? Because currently we are competing for example, the windmill, the oven and stuff, but
Mhm.
no one can take
No one can
can't
take
take
what you
what's yours. Um, they can just wait for your thing to finish and they can continue. But is it going to be? Do you think it?
Luke mentioned it. I don't know if you could remember Tony, but he said that other guild members could water your plant, could harvest your plant. So the trust factor is really
Wow.
um you have to trust people who you give access to your land, right? That's one of the most important thing.
But
Um
what end? Like, why does it need to be that complicated? And isn't this very niche? Isn't this like how do you see this evolve with 100 million players, right? Because we're hopefully aiming for one of those Web3 games to really capture the next 10, 15, 100 million
mhm.
of young kids playing that game, like what Minecraft did, what Roblox did. So isn't this too complex then?
In my opinion, at this stage of the game, right? It's it it can work. I think we have to wait and see how it feels. That's the beautiful thing about NFTs, right? It's a platform that the developers could build on top of. So this 60 soils, or the way it is right now, is for large land, you could have 60 soils, and for small lands, you could have 48. In the future, that could change completely. It could be a completely different setting. We could probably have like 100 soil, right? If the population of the game keeps on growing, they could always adjust what the tiers for spec would look like. So, but at this point, it adds really interesting mechanics to the game that you could probably um, plant a potato for someone else, right? And instead of trading to the like with them, you would gain the experience planting the potatoes, and they could wait for it to get ripe and basically harvest it. But there, I can see this going into like many directions. Uh,
So guys, what BaldZ is saying, each NFT is a unique smart contract uploaded in this instance on Ethereum. We know that farmland, so Pixel's farmland is going to be migrating onto Ronin. Well, it's going to be optional depending if you want to migrate it. Originally minted on Ethereum. But this smart contract comes with a set of traits. Those traits can be whether your land has a coop, it has a windmill, yes or no, very binary, whether it's a small, standard, or a large land. Size is small, and then the type of land is standard or space or water. One interesting fun fact, perhaps Roy, you want to share this one, because I remember you telling me that large lands were more than small lands, but this is counterintuitive because it was a mistake in the contract, right?
Did I tell you this?
Yeah, I
I
think you did, or somebody did, but basically they made a mistake. The developers at Pixels, they just they miscalculated, and now ultimately as users we're benefiting because there is more large lands than small ones.
mhm. Could you
Um,
show the
Oh,
filter on the side, Tony, for the trade
yeah,
filter? And
sure, good point. Yeah, you mean here?
and can you go to the size of the land to just show to people like
Yeah, that's a mistake, right? It should not have been this way.
should have been this small, right? And that's very interesting because metadata doesn't need to change, but the representation of the metadata into the game could look different. For example, the silos are much lower in value compared to coop and windmill, and that is because the silos are just an extra space for the surplus. But in the future, that could totally look different, right? They could rebalance it. We could interact with the silos in many different ways. This is a speculation, right? But they could totally do that. Small land, since it has lower number out of 5,000 farmlands, could have some sort of unique.
Which makes it more unique. What we're saying here is that this is more unique than large lands. And
Or
uniqueness in
it could have
typically,
like its own, because you don't want to devalue the large land too, right? But you don't want to, you don't want the small lands to have like a lesser value as well. So you could have a different set of what do you call this? I forgot what it's
unique
called.
traits or utilities. For
Exactly. Yeah.
I mean, guys, what BaldZ is saying essentially, if you look at the smart contract, it says that a land has trees or it doesn't have trees, but it doesn't say how many trees it has specifically. So this one, they've said for a dense land, you're going to get 60 trees. For light, you're going to get 40 8, and if you have no trees, obviously it's 0. But the numbers are not in the smart contract. What's in the smart contract is 0, dense or light, but the numbers are represented actually in game, and this is the metadata that can change. So, if we
Tony,
yeah,
sorry. Do you want to go back on Luke's post?
yes, let's do that. That's exactly what. So, guys, back to Luke's post. My personal super interest thing that really interests me is the extra types of gear that we can possibly get, right? So what they're suggesting is there's going to be different tiers of collectibles, but by collectibles we mean access, running shoes. For example, now I think everybody in the Burokku guild, the least at least, we have other spec shoes which give you 15% boost to running. But now the same could happen for access. Imagine with this axe I can chop 15 trees in one go. That'd be awesome, wouldn't it?
Oh yeah, I hate chopping.
And one interesting thing about this, right? This also acts as a resource sink. So for example, I don't know which one is the most rare axe, right? But let's talk about the highest tier of axe. Imagine you would need 50 voidtonium, for example, right? For the higher tier axe to use it on Spaceland to get like even higher tier resource. So just in like bigger picture, right? How many people would want the highest tier? How many people would burn 50 voidtonium just to get it, right? So that takes out the circulation of more voidtonium the more people want to use the higher tiers, right? That acts like a sink, and it's a common mechanic for MMOs, and it's very interesting if we could see this with many different tools in the game.
But both, that's a very interesting one. So, one thing that we showed that the game developers have introduced is resource cap on how many people can use, say, the windmill, the woodworking table, the forest, the potentially the soils. But what we haven't talked about is the global cap on resources. Now, what we are saying is my depth of my waterland and BaldZ waterland was essentially infinite. If we here we think that there is like an infinite, there is a kind of visually, we know that probably you can, I don't know, harvest 100,000 crops before this thing gets depleted here. In chapter 1, it was infinite. There was no depth to it. Now, what they're gonna do is at some point, once you've mined the land and the land comes with 150,000 voidtonium in it, then it's maybe game over for a certain period, which makes it a lot more realistic. But this is then to what BaldZ is saying, is if we start to burn a lot of voidtonium, but on the flip side, almost voidtonium is a scarce resource globally, like oil in the real world, well, then the price ultimately goes up, right? And you want to be mindful of how much you're spending and on what you're spending it.
Exactly. If you look at the collection of farmland, there's only 545 space land that exists. But the question is, how many of those lands will actually put mine into their lands? And how many of those lands are active? Right? So that's also important factor to think of. But the real question is, how many of the space lands out of 500 does your guild have access to one of it? And that's going to be very important.
Yep. Royal. So here we have a completely new dimension to the game, which is the task board.
Yeah,
Tell
the
us a little
task
bit about
board.
what you've discovered there.
Yeah, so the task board currently is giving you like limited amount of tasks per day that you can do, complete, and get both coins and some experience in return. It's very interesting because I think the main idea behind the tasks is to make you again more dynamic, like to go from industry to industry, to do different type of things, um, to level up different skills. I'm seeing currently that a lot of people are not so much liking it, but I think it's because they are very used to what they've been doing in the past, like only farming a bunch of stuff per day and just selling directly for berries. But now we have another layer of things that we have to consider, and it's the marketplace. Because here you have a set price of things that a pack of 10 things will like give you in return. But if you go to the marketplace, for most of the items, the game is completely different. It's a completely different story. Like for example, um, today I had a task to sell 10 slimes for only 80 coins. But going to the marketplace, if I list this, one will be more than 80, which is like there is no uh, actual value added to complete this particular task. And I think that we have to be very selective in what we do. Uh, I was doing everything at the first day just to get to know the game better, to feel how it works, how is it going, how is it changing, do I like it or not. But I'm starting to get more conscious about what I'm agreeing
Absolutely.
on.
Mhm.
I mean, let's look at this as an example. Voitonium, what we're just talking about, is the most rare resource possibly in the game so far, at least. Because caveat that Looking Team said they would be introducing new resources, new items, etc. Right? So we don't know what we don't know. But I think one Voitonium being priced at 50 coins is a little bit of a yeah, it's a little bit crazy given that Voitonium right now in the marketplace, what Roy was talking about up here. If you go in buy, and let's say we go Voitonium, price is 359. So I should have been getting 3,590 coins if I just simply came here, undercut the floor, and I just went as the first one. So it's a no-brainer for you not to do this quest. Now, this is not the same for everybody, right, Royal?
Yeah, it's not the same for everybody. It's very personalized. I think it's based on what levels you have in all of the industries. Uh,
Can I jump in
yeah,
real
yeah,
quick?
yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Jump in,
I
please.
I like I like what you said or you guys are touching on. Um, let's let's imagine a day where you didn't get much um pixel task for after the reset, right? And you'd have to deliver some resources for coins even if you don't want to, just to try and see if it rolls a task that would give you pixel.
I agree.
Yeah.
So there's an incentives on farming lower tier resources still, just to re-roll the task in front of you, and that's very important to think of.
Yeah, but what is like driving people crazy currently is they don't know what is going to be the price of 1 pixel. And they are not
Hmm.
really sure if it makes sense to do certain things or not. And I
um
agree on that uh,
mhm.
on some level. But
And
at
I
the end,
think,
yeah,
sorry.
sorry, yeah. But at the end, I just want to add that it's just a game that you have to enjoy and have fun playing. It's not only P2E, so we have to think about that as well.
Mhm. And this is not finalized, right, guys?
Hmm.
This is ex this is we're in a transitional period where they could make a lot of experiments. After we see the pixel token get listed on Binance on February 19th, 2024, we would have an idea like what is the dollar value of pixels, and the team could adjust how many resources we could turn in for, let's say 5 pixels, for example. um, they could look at the data for how many of each resources gets formed. For example, you could only for one. So this is going to be a little bit complex, right? Windmill, you could only craft a can of shrapnel, which is 12 shrapnel every hour. So that is 24 times in one day, right? So the idea is the pixel team would be easily um they could easily look at the data of how many shrapnel has been formed today, or has been converted from ironite to shrapnel, and they could adjust and make it dynamic for the entire server. What is the value for each shrapnel based on the value of pixel token in dollar
Yeah.
terms? So it's very complicated, but that's how I see it. That's how it's going to be in the future. And in my opinion, they could do it. They're very smart, and yeah, with the help of pixel that tips as well, the data that they gather, and you know, the space is full of amazing builders. So I'm not really worried about how the values are right now.
And the founder is an economist, not
Exactly.
just a dev. So he is super passionate about this. What you were telling us both as we were prepping for the call is his background is in which MMO game?
Uh, he played a lot of RuneScape.
RuneScape. Yeah. So he has a bunch of experience in this. One pose that I wanted to flag for people is, and I think we've seen that question a bunch of time in our Discord, is would Pixel's VIP have the same utility? One of the main aspects why players were getting it before, there wasn't just the energy, the additional energy that they're getting 1200 plus, but it's the ability for you to withdraw um, at the time berry of the centralized platform. Uh, Now, what he's saying is we'll relax the withdrawal requirements, so VIP wouldn't be needed, but you will be given many more pixel tasks if you have VIP. So now the incentive for you to um, earn pixel should drive you to purchase VIP. And by the way, guys, can you see this screen now of the marketplace?
Yes, I could.
Yeah. So what this is saying is for somebody that has a VIP, is going to have. So this was my allocation of pixel for the day. I only got one. I claimed it in 24 hours. 8 hours from now, I would be able to claim it again. or to get like a new task, and hopefully it's a pixel. I have the resources, I claim it. What BaldZ is also saying though, actually no. So what Luke is saying is, if you have VIP, you might get another one for the day. If you were to have a land, you might get another one. So that's a little bit randomized as well, depending on how much pixel they want to distribute to players for the day, which is the complex calculations that we just talked about. But so the other thing that Royal is saying is, this is a bad deal. This could be a bad deal because you sell it to the marketplace. But to BaldZ's point, this clicking this and delivering might unlock. Let's try it. Let's try it. In 1 minute. Oh, now get a new task. Let's see what we roll here, because that introduces a little bit of like a lottery type mechanism, and it's quite interesting.
Mm-hmm. Just to jump in real quick, Tony. This task board also presents a lot of I would say we have to work as a team. Guilds has to work or even trade with each other. This would drive us to get to know more of like people in the community. Probably look for someone who has a lot of Voidtonium, build up a relationship with them, right? Whether they're from the different guild, or if you're lucky, if they're your guild member, right? You could have some sort of barter, which you could use the coin for, and submit it for either pixel or coin, and that's a beautiful thing.
Yep. So let's see what I wrote. Oh, okay. Yeah, another kind of bad deal.
I
So now
wonder
it's more.
what is the chance of rolling the pixel task after you deliver something for coin.
I think right now it's not engineered. Like, what we know is that they're working through that. They're changing it. By the way, guys, this task board has been live for 2 days, and we cannot ask for. It's just so much data that's going into this. You probably need to build some sort of a machine learning algorithm on top of it to be very smart and to adjust to all of those different personas. One of the main announcements in Luke's really fine chapter 2 is that they're thinking about personas in a different way. So a free player, a VIP player, a landowner, and sort of a content creator type role. But they're thinking that this is going to expand materially in the future. So it's just this is the most basic pixel we're ever going to see. So the game is going to evolve. So this is that announcement we talked about.
Also,
Generally, yeah.
Tony, sorry. There's a one persona that you have missed. There are people who plays a lot of MMOs who just scams the marketplace and look for good deals and try to sell it on higher price.
Oh,
And
absolutely, yeah.
I wonder, for Royallady, what persona will you be?
Well, I tried trading some stuff back in the days, like before the announcement and the change, and I even created a spreadsheet where I tracked uh, each item that I crafted or just farmed or whatever, how much um, did it cost me to make, in terms of both berry and energy. How much did I sell it for, and what was my profit and margin? Um, I liked that part for a while, but it wasn't suiting my personality and character that much because the market was changing so quickly and so fast that you have to be very like very well informed all during the whole time. I started even thinking for a while that maybe it makes sense to craft stuff, farm some plans and just store them and be patient and wait for the best market conditions when you will just sell them, because there were sometimes even during P2A or the other events when items were changing rapidly in terms of cost. It was just stupid to sell or not to sell in any particular moment. Currently, I don't feel like doing it because what I'm sensing is that um, people haven't quite uh, felt it yet, so to say. I think that the founders are trying to equal coin to berry, because I can see that the things that previously you could buy for berry from Hazel are just the same in price but in coins today. So I I think that they replaced berry with coin uh, in terms of what each item costs, but the marketplace is crazy. Like there people are listing some stuff so low and others so high, and maybe this will be a tool to somehow balance the game and balance the stuff that have no utility and doesn't make sense to be higher price as it used to be before, because the price on marketplace before was set based on what price you could get by selling it directly to Hazel or in the Drunken Goose or whichever place.
Well, let's do a little case study here, which is, I mean, you alluded to that. We thought about like building, as an example, mines. We got the blueprint. We were building a mine. I think at the time, our mine was worth between 50, 70 K berry. Right now, we're seeing that the mine is worth 178,000 coin. But actually, there has been a structural shift in the way that this mine should be priced, because a mine requires a bunch of resources, right? Which now are arguably a lot rarer in their entirety. So now, is this the fair value? Is this overpriced? We just don't know, because the price really hasn't been discovered quite yet,
I
because it's been only 3
think
days.
this is crazy because just yesterday a mine kit was listed for 20,000 coins. 20K.
Yeah, but now imagine that every spec owner, by the way, spec owners are much more than landowners. They're now realizing, oh, maybe I need to buy one of those. But by the way, if you look at Kiln to me seems like actually quite more useful on a spec than a mine.
And it's
But
higher
it's lower.
price than it used to be. Everything seems to be
Mhm.
more expensive now that you're
And
showing this.
I think we're forgetting that 120,000 coin is equivalent to 100 pixel token, right?
Yes.
Am I?
Mhm.
Yeah, that's correct.
Can you show Tony on how you would convert that? I forgot where.
I
No.
think
So you would this is if you were to purchase it, right? This conversion doesn't work from the other way around. But actually I've never done it. It might be in
no, I think I saw it in game.
Yeah, I think I saw it in game and I forgot where. And I think it would be
Try
nice
to
to show
click,
it to
maybe
people.
try to click on just on the coins or the pixels. Yeah, here,
clever.
yeah.
So see, 120,000 coins are worth 100 pixel tokens.
So that's interesting, right?
Yeah. So collectively here, by the way, among this group, I'm the lowest ranked guy in the P2A. So what we're saying is with the 12, so it was given 12,000. Yeah, I was given 12,000 pixel tokens. That's 120 times I'm able to buy 120,000 coins. So essentially they've given me, wow, quite a few million coins in exchange for the token. That's very interesting. It's like 144 million. No,
That's a lot
40
of
million.
popberry seeds you can
Yeah,
buy
40. Yeah,
at
it's a lot of
Hazel's.
fun. So guys, we've talked for quite a while. We want to do this more often, right? So we're planning to do it. I mean, we're hoping for us to be frequent in releasing that kind of content alongside with our posting on X and also being active in the Discord. So hopefully you found this helpful. I think we've been through this entire post pretty much that Luke shared, and there is a lot more to go through for our next episode. But I suppose, unless Royal BaldZ, you have any final thoughts around this, we can wrap up.
I just want to say that the game so far hasn't, so to say, betrayed us. Like, there are a lot of things that are still to be understood. We just have to give it a try, give it a go. Just wait a few more weeks, maybe, to everything to settle and everyone to get used to the new gameplay, and just to jump into any conclusions and negativity and stuff just because it's new and it's different, because it might turn out to be more dynamic and more interesting at the end. That's my summary.
I completely agree with that. BaldZ?
Um, yeah, I just want to say that I think we're seeing the playing the game really rewards you, and respect to the team, the whole Pixel team. Um, this is something new for me and for most of us, and seeing the developers build this in front of our eyes, along with the community, it's amazing, amazing to see, and I'm very excited for chapter 2. Right, there are plenty of stuff we could talk about, learn some things. Um, the economy of the game will be the biggest part in chapter 2 in the future. So I think learning more instead of just planting a certain type of crop is really beneficial. And yeah, it's very exciting.
And in one of the next episodes, what we really want to cover is BaldZ's incredible experience with MMOs in general. So he was telling us stuff around how MMOs were evolving throughout the years, the financialization of them. But by the way, people talk a lot about the financialization of Web3, and that everything that we do is starting to have a price, which may or may not be a good thing. But specifically as it comes to gaming, this is not net new to MMO games. So we should definitely cover a bit on this. Yeah. Well, thank you very much, guys. Hope you found this useful. Any comments, post them on on YouTube or Discord or wherever we're active. And hope you click the subscribe button, and looking forward to seeing you soon.
Thank you, and happy to be here with you.
Again, this is BaldZ. This is Royallady. I'm with Tony. Um, always look beyond. Shout out to Burokku fam. Peace.
Peace out.